everybody. Welcome back once again. Kerb Clippers British GT Championship, round number 7, the grand final, Snetterton 300. Qualifying just getting underway. Light rain conditions. Few drivers still just trying to jump in the lobby. Hopefully should get us up to about 15 runners I think tonight. Still trying to find if anyone else of the reserves can fill the last spot, but decent grid out for the final race. Biggest headline tonight, championship leader Blank File unable to make the race today, which leaves the man we're looking at now, Johnny B, in the Audi R8 with a simple task of finishing 2nd or higher to win the championship. But 3rd place isn't good enough, so it's going to be all eyes on Johnny B in GT3 today. See if the likes of Attu, Whitford, Matty, Dazza can't spoil his little party, taking advantage of Blank's prior commitment. Still waiting for some time to come up on the board. And in the GT4 battle it is Redwood who leads the way. There he is. Number 27, Janetta GT4, current championship leader. Currently leading the way by 9 points from G32. So we'll try and keep an eye on the mathematics of that as we go through the race, but G32 potentially with, at the moment, I'm expecting maybe 6 or 7 GT4 runners tonight. So with the point system the way it is, you know, Redwood is looking pretty good for that championship, but if G32 was to win the race and Red was to finish 4th, then G32 would have the championship. So, and Redwood did finish 4th the last race, and G32 won. So it's definitely a possibility. It's going to be light rain for all of qualifying. Just 11 minutes to go. So we'll see how these guys get on in the wet. So Whitford's laid down the early marker in GT3. Oh, as he faces backwards into the hairpin. Currently 50.8. 1.1 seconds ahead of Dazza. 1.2 seconds ahead of 50 feet. Back once again in that Mercedes. And then at the moment, Angie once again showing great speed in her number 89 Janetta. 2 minutes 1 second 366 at the moment, benchmarking GT4. So Whitford and Angie at the moment are the people to beat. Still plenty of people to set a competitive time there. Well, Nico's gone for the BMW as well. Nico just jumping in just for the final race of the season, joining us as a reserve. He's chosen the Beaver, which I love. Probably won't be the fastest, but it certainly looks good. And unfortunately, the best looking car on the grid, the Bentley, Honey Badger, is stuck in traffic, so it looks like he might miss this race, which will be disappointing, at least for the aesthetics of the way the grid looks. That time from Whitford starting to look even more impressive as these times start ticking in. Whoa! Nico gets it all wrong. Coming into the final corner. So the man who needs P2 or better, Johnny B, currently in 6th, but 4.7 seconds down. To be fair, actually, with the light rain conditions, as we know, the track is generally faster at the start of the session and then only gets worse. So Whitford might be looking for his first pole position of the season, eh? If the weather keeps getting worse, and Johnny B, championship, favourite for the championship. Or at least the only man with a shot at the championship who's actually in the race today. Potentially with some work to do. There's a vicious viper, a motor mouth, previously known as motor mouth, now a vicious viper, jumps in. Well, I do believe we are full. Buzzing Hornet, yeah, good sign. 16 cars, everyone made it in. 7 minutes to go. Getting more and more confident that Whitford is going to be on pole. Dazza looking good in 2nd. Flipper still 3rd. Johnny B's got himself up into 4th. But I'd imagine that was quite a clean lap for Johnny B as he has a little wobble on the curb here. Little tank slapper. Caps it up. Angie looking good in GT4 still. Redwood's got himself up into 2nd. Closely matched with Satis. Then we've got Diva Kung G32. Not quite got a clean lap in yet. But, you know, 1 hour endurance racing. Qualifying is not everything. Still got Buzz in the pit. Is he in the scene? There we go, he's in there. Maybe just not qualifying. Buzz heads out in the Renault. Welcome back, Buzz. Missed a couple of weeks. Good to see him back. As he drives into the whoa. He's been on the sauce. Buzz in the customary lime green. Heads out on track for the first time. And sticks it in the wall. Good to get your crashes out the way early doors. Buzz has learned that there's not much grip on that wet grass. 5 minutes remaining and the track getting slower. I think we're pretty much looking at the grid here. Whitford's going to grab himself pole position. Oh, Zico's rally crossing as well. And again. And neatly parks it up on the curb. Beautiful stuff. Lovely interpretive dance from Whitford. The guy's struggling a little bit at the moment. I think the Snetterton's maybe not the best for drainage, even in light rain conditions after 10 minutes. A lot of slipping and sliding. I guess we are pushing flat out for qualifying though. Or as Johnny B hits some traffic at a slightly opportune moment coming into the final corner. back in the Porsche after missing last week. Rumours of the Porsche garage fire seem to be incorrect. He's stuck with it. Resisted the urge to switch it up into a Snetterton. Let's see if we can't jump on board with somebody who's on a bit of a flying lap here. Here we go, Matt Dazzer's coming round. Onto the mud. You can tell that everyone always goes out there because there's no green grass left. Through Kerb into Murray's final corner, out onto the start finish straight for Matt Dazer. Not expecting to see too many improvements at this point, but you never know. Yeah, not this time, but Dazer's hopefully going to lead us round on a nice lap now, because we have FRY-DIZ. Slightly, yep, that's how not to do it. And we're every time I try to get a lap out of somebody, he'll be on his way back to the pits then. So that's how to turn in a little bit too high in turn 1 and run out of road. Good example from Dazer. Johnny B then, starting the lap. Let's see if Johnny B does any better. Nails turn 1, a little bit of Saturday-based GT4 traffic to deal with. Tucks it up the inside. Through Montreal hairpin. Then you got the nasty off-camber Palmer left-hander. Really is slightly blind, and the camber is horrific. Drags you out to the outside. You gain a lot of lap time getting it right through there and lose a lot getting it wrong. Then an Angostini hairpin. Hamilton, high commitment. Dab at the brakes. Take the car in. Clip the curb. That's nicely done. Then into Oggies. A little bit of Porsche GT4 traffic to worry about now. There's the perils of multi-task qualifying. I think Mark sort of tried to get out of the way a little bit, but in the end he's let Johnny through on the inside. He lost time then, Johnny. Possibly even a second or so as he went through Williams, down the Bentley straight. And then into the wonderfully tricky Brundle and Nelson. Where if you think back to our test event at the end of last year, we saw Johnny B having many a trouble coming through there. It's very, very tricky little complex corners through the bomb hole. Lovely, the camber helps you there. Can really chuck the car in. And then through the long right-hander of Kerb's. And then you got a trail brake hard into the final corner, which is Murray's. Jet back out onto the start finish straight. And cruising to the pits. I think Johnny B realising that there's not much hope of improvement. All of this means that Whitford's going to claim his first Kerb Clippers British GT Championship pole position in the Ferrari. Well done to Whitford. Got out there early, put in a decent lap time, which is exactly what Angie did in GT4. Those times were set pretty much as the first flying laps, and they've held on. So it looks like he grid for the race. It's going to be Whitford, Dazer, Flipper, who's still out there, missing his braking zone. Just a touch. Oh, Johnny B. Whoa. I mean, that is literally headache inducing. Motor looks like he's going from the back. The last minute fill in. Or Viper. I guess keep, yeah. Start calling him Viper, I guess. He'll probably change back to Motormouth though, won't he, soon, but hey. Right, there we go then, guys. Who's left out on track? Just Matty. Matty crosses the line. And there we go. Final round of qualifying ever in this championship is complete. And we got Whitford on pole, Dazzler on P2, Flipper P3, Johnny B P4, Atty P5, Matty P6, Kev's P7, and Buzzing Hornet P8 in GT3s. And then 8 GT4s is the largest number of GT4s we've actually had all season, which really does spice things up for Redwood trying to hang on to that 9-point lead. We've got Angie and Pole, Redwood P2, Satish P3, DB Kung P4, G32, Redwood's main rival, down in 5th, Mark Querty in 6th in the Porsche, Nico Perez, brave effort in the slow Mercedes, and slow BMW, sorry, in 7th, and then No Time Set going from the back, Viper, aka Motor Mouth. And we'll get ready to go racing in 2 minutes. Once these guys are set up their fuel and their tyres, it'll be lights out for the final time. So weather forecast very changeable today at the circuit. It was a bit all over the shop, but come the usual times we take the weather from, we had scattered showers into rain. So what we've ended up with is we're starting in light rain, then we're going to have a light cloud, and then we've got 2 slots of rain. So there's going to be a couple of options for the guys. The obvious one being pit for slicks, then pit for wets. But there is the possibility that if you stay out on your wet tyres and you drive nice and carefully for the 15 minutes when the rain stopped, you might have a chance of getting back into the rain with a decent amount of tread on your tyres. But that could all blow up in your face. It's a risk. But the time that people are going to lose making 2 pit stops, I think you can potentially afford to take your time on your wets, and then the circuit won't be drying out insanely quickly. But it'll be interesting to see. I expect the majority of guys will just go for the 2 pit stops, because to have fresh wet tyres for those 30 minutes as well is going to be a big advantage. If you've knackered your wets driving in the dry for 10 minutes, and then you want them to hang on for another 30 minutes of punishment in the wet, it might not be the one. Right, here we go then, guys. 8 GT3s, 8 GT4s. Round number 7, the finale of the Kerb British GT Championship is underway. Dazza gets an amazing start in that McLaren. Dazza's going to catapult himself up into 1st. Whitford slow off the line. The cars bunch up behind him. We come down into the first turn, 2 wide. But the GT3's through fine. Angelis GT4. There's a spin. Oh, there's a spinner off. Matty's off. Oh, carnage. Redwood Championship leaders up in the air. He's sat. Huge dramas. Well, there we go. The GT4 Championship's blown wide open straight away. A couple of the GT3 guys look like they got together. I think it was it Matty? It was definitely Matty. Matty's got damage. Matty's off the circuit again. I'm not entirely sure who the other car involved was. Looked like it was an Audi, wasn't it? Or at least I thought it was an Audi. Well, anyway, Buzz is off the circuit as well. Right, let's try and keep up with what's actually going on in the race. Daz is leading. Johnny B's up to 2nd. Whitford's 3rd. Come on, cameraman. Actually try and get on the right cars. Yeah, right. So you've got Dazza leading. Whitford's in 2nd. Flipper Feet's found his way up to 3rd. Great start from Flipper Feet. Who's in 4th. Angie in the GT4 is currently P5 on track. That shows you how much drama the GT3 boys had in that opening gambit. Johnny B down to 6th on the road, or 5th in class as he passes Angie. And then G32 has come out in 2nd spot in GT4 with Nico for company. Oh, as one of the GT4s gets far too much curve then and goes around. Motor Mouth there, just jumping the curb. I think the GT3 clipped was alright. Sorry, so much happened then, I feel like I really struggled to keep up with it. But the be all and end all at the moment is Melta Dazza has got a 3-second lead as we head on to lap 2. Whitford and Flipper are fighting over P2. Johnny B, who needs to finish 2nd or better to win the championship, is in 4th. Angie's back up into 5th. because Matty recovers as well. What's going on? Oh, right, because Atu's in the pits. Atu and Buzz are in the pits. Mad drama, starting in the light rain here at Snetterton. Buzz misses his pit stop, we got GT4s in. Atu rolls, Buzz is still being sorted out. Redwood Championship leaders in. That was quite a hefty smack that he took from Satis. I hope the damage isn't going to be too bad because he kind of just got picked up by Satis's car. Daz and Redwood's Mark gets rolling in the Porsche as well, so we finally had 4 or 5 cars in the pits. And we're only 3 minutes into this race. That's definitely the most chaotic opening lap we've had of the whole season. Basically down to sort of 3 GT3 runners that haven't had mad dramas. Oh, it was Flipper and Whitford coming side by side into Brundle. Well dealt with, good driving from an M2. Flipper's looking on for a good result here. At the moment, didn't have quite such a good opening lap last week. And then Johnny B with work to do. And then already quite a large gap back to Matty in 5th. He's in 6th in class, and then oh, we have lost somebody from the race as well. We lost 2 people from the race. Couple of retirements already. Phew, hectic. Right, back to the battle for 2nd. Whitford qualified on pole. That's it all as Whitford gets a little slide on through the hairpin, gathers it all up, not too much harm done there, losing him about a second. Started on pole, bogged down off the line. Dazza got an absolute flyer, got into the lead straight away. Hasn't really looked back since Dazza, increasing that lead up to 3.8 seconds. I wonder if that Audi that I saw on lap 1 was actually Johnny B. I wonder if he might be rolling with a bit of damage right now. Fastest man on track is Dazza in the lead, significantly so. Looks like that McLaren's range setup is nailed in. Johnny comes through, we've got quite a big gap back to Matty, he's coming down the straight now. Angie still leading in GT4 and enjoying 6th spot overall. D32 is not a million miles behind her though, I don't think. You can see her in the distance. P3 Satis. And then we've got the recovering Atu in the M6. Who I think got tangled up in that lap 1 incident. Nico cruising in his BMW. More damage for DB Kung, just like last week. Then Motormouth. And then Mark, then Redwood. So actually what we've ended up losing here is a lot of GT3 runners. But we're down to 6 runners in GT3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. All 8 GT4s are still going, but we're down to 6 GT3s already. Race leader Melted Dazza. It was Kev's Audi that I saw in the wall. Unlucky Kev's. Flipper's got himself a little bit of a gap here with Whitford now, so FRY-DIZ and Flipper looking really, really good. I think DIZ has managed himself a P3 so far this season. But Flipper last week got himself in a few dramas, wasn't he really able to get a clean run in. To show his worth in that Mercedes-Benz. And then Whitford in third, but what these three running away means that Johnny B has work to do. It's not impossible. He's currently 8 seconds behind Flipper in P2, which is where he needs to be to win the championship. So hopefully that's the battle that's going to rage on all race, basically. And then Matty, who we saw come off the road but is still in 5th, and then the last GT3 runner is Atu, who's recovering at the moment. He's just got Angie left to pass as he opens or enters into turn 1 a fraction wide, but gets away with it. Brakes hard into the box, you'll have him. Satis is catching G32 and GT4. The battle for P2. Angie's cleared off up the road, she's 13 seconds away. Anyway, I guess Kerbs will be classified in P8 for GT3, sorry, and Buzz will be classified in P7 because that's how far they got before they both retired. At least ticked off 1 or 2 laps. Nice little battle here developing in GT4, a little bit further down in the midfield. We've got Nico, DB Kung and Viper all close together. They're always the battle for 3rd. I think what we're getting pretty close to now already is the weather seems to be lightening up a little bit. Not sure if we check in cockpit. Yeah, not a lot of rain on that windscreen. It's like potentially stopping for dry tyres coming up soon. As that who just catches up with a race leader in GT4 Angie, makes his way past nice and neatly. 46 seconds behind the leader at the moment after his unplanned pit stop. Nico driving really well in that BMW actually. Nice and clean and tidy, under pressure from the 2 Janettas. GT4, the sort of second division of how we do things at Kerb Clippers in this championship. We've always got a Pro and a Pro-Am championship, even when we're all driving in the same class. But these guys putting on a great show, even in the Pro-Am category. All driving really well. I do think it really does help everyone improve. Racing in the races that we run. Or just racing in club races in general, as DB Kung loses it on the curb. He'll recover, but he'll lose a spot. Viper dives through. DB Kung nursing that little bit of damage, that won't be helping his handling too much. As Satis and G32 continue to lap together. Where's Redwood then? Currently is G32 in 2nd, and Redwood 3rd, 4th, 6th, and Redwood in 7th. I think G32 would win the championship if it finished like this in the Pro-Am division, GT4. Still a long way to go though. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, at the front of GT3, Dazza continues to lead. He comes round to complete lap number 7. Just pulled out a gap of about 5 seconds over Flipper, you can see in the background there as he comes round. Through comes Flipper, and then Whitford, top 3, 8 seconds separating them. Avoided the lap 1 carnage. And lap times are dropping now. Yep, they look at that. So Melted Dazzler 55.5, Flipper 55.7, Whitford 55.7. So conditions are improving. Matthew's done a 54.5 last time out as well. So we are starting to get a little bit drier. So we're expecting another rain shower in about 15 minutes time. But this track's going to dry quite quickly, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategies the guys are going to go for it. Oh, there's a bit of rub in there between Nico and Viper. Which is allowing... Oh, there's race leader Dazza comes across this traffic. Driver from everyone as always. The Flipper's job next. It's just see how he kicks with this. The closing speed is actually pretty phenomenal. Difference in power between the 4s and the 3s. Janetta doesn't have to get out of the way. Yeah, that's nice. Nice decisive driving from Flipper there. That's to the inside of the bomb hole. It is dry. No, there's still plenty of water on the track though. Extra power weaves his way through. Beautiful stuff. No time lost there really for Flipper. Whitford's the next to have to deal with that. Whoops! Nico wide, he's wide. Is he going to be alright? Yeah. Lost the place. No harm done. So Satis has passed G32. That's passed for position. Puts G32 down into 3rd. Might be enough to swing the championship back in Redwood's favour, that. And still no pit stops. That track looks pretty bone dry to me now. There's the odd little puddle, but there's a little scrap between these three, carrying on nicely. Viper, Nico and DV Co. as Johnny B in P4 and GT4 just turn to try and navigate his way through these three battling GT4s. Loses a little bit of time on entry. Sometimes you just got to wait. Powers past on exit. Might try and nick past Nico here on the inside under braking. He's got a chance. Yeah, Nico needs the room. Great driving. Quite a handy little run wide from Viper there that gives Johnny a nose up the inside as he moves through, putting a lap on them. Whoa, gets sucked out wide a little bit. Right, this track is dry now. It looks like the general consensus might be, unless everyone's just sort of waiting for the first person to blink. It looks like general consensus may well be just to crack on the wet tyres through the dry bit and wait for the rain to come again. Try and dive across offline, try and pick up some water, keep them cool. But we saw at Brands Hatch when Atto stayed out on the wet tyres for the dry period. There was about a 15-minute dry period at the end of the race. He was, you know, free. He ended up being 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap slower than the Blankfile who was catching him. I just wonder if 15 minutes of thrashing your wet tyres on a dry circuit is going to cost you at the end of the race. A couple of people in the pits. DB Kung's in, Nico's in. Are they stopping for dry tyres? I'd imagine they are. A little bit more motivation to stop for the dries if you've got a little bit of damage on the car as well. You can try and get that tended to at the same time. They came in together. We'll see who ends up rolling first. As here comes Redwood to pass them both for position. Potentially big news in the championship there. Redwood comes on by. Looks like Redwood sticking with the wets. Nico rolls on the dries. DB Kung rolls on the dries, but they lose another position to Mark coming through. Also staying out on the wet tyres. So it's dropping to the back of the field. We lost another runner. Who is that? It's not another GT3, is it? We're not down to 5 GT3s. It's normally been GT4's curse to lose all the runners. That were I think we lost Matty, haven't we? So Matty's out. So Matty will be P6 and GT3, but he's out of the race. So suddenly we have 5 GT3s running and 8 GT4s. Well, there we go. Good points for anyone just still rotating in GT4. But Johnny B still has work to do. He's falling behind. Whitford's not in the... Wait, sorry. Tazza's still in the lead. Flipper's still in second. Whitford's still in third. And the gap between Johnny B and Flipper is now 17 seconds. So it looks like Blankfile, even in his absence, thanks to Johnny B's mistake leaving the race last week, which dropped him from P1 down to about P4, I think it was in the end. It looks like Blankfile, without even being able to turn up today, is still favourite to win this championship. Especially if, as it potentially looks like it's going to start raining again now. I think I see rain. Looks like that was potentially the best move then. Just stick it out through the dry and the rain will come back to you. really does put Johnny B in quite a tricky position actually, without the sort of the extra roll of the dice of a couple more pit stops to worry about. I think Johnny's going to be relying on mistakes happening ahead, but if we learned anything from Silverstone Classic and Autumn Park, and pretty much every round actually of this championship so far, mistakes do happen. In the meantime, I'll just throw up the old track map for you so you can see the gaps. Those 3 white dots on the screen are 1, 2 and 3. Starting to look potentially like a 2-horse race between Flipper and Dazza, because the fastest man on the track at the moment is Flipper. Flipper and Whitford both lap quicker than Dazza last time. Dazza could have had some traffic there. That is nice and polite there, gives Johnny B a lane. Oh, right, Johnny B, big mistake, and he's taking Satis with him. He'll get away with it. Here we go, this is what these boys have all been dealing with. That's why Moa Dazza was slow last lap. Coming up against battling GT4 traffic. 2 abreast, roadblock for Flipper at the moment, through the bomb hole. Mark and Nico there, not doing anything wrong, racing their own range, just unlucky time for Flipper to catch him. Cost him well over a second, that did. The rain's coming in again, the rain's going to be even harder this time. And looks like this is what we're going to get for the rest of the race. If these two did stop for slicks, they might be slightly regretting that decision now. Potentially have to come back in the pits, unless they were just coming in for damage. Johnny B's in the pits. Confused about that one. Looking even more likely then. But that P2 isn't going to be his as Atu comes past. Here comes Atu. Up into 4th place. Johnny down to 5th. Still stationary as well. Bleeding time out. He's almost about to go a lap. Oh no, they're not. That's a different corner. But yeah. Not going Johnny B's way today. Winner of 2 races so far this season. But that P2 looks a long way off right now. So we approach halfway stage of the race. Update from Matty. Understeered into a puddle and oversteered into a barrier. So Matty ripped the Mercedes off. Unlucky Matty. Still get P6. Just for completing that many laps in GT3. So Johnny B is now a full minute behind where he needs to be. Angie, by the way, not mentioned her for a while, leading GT4 comfortably after finishing in 2nd spot last week. Looking to make it 3 wins out of 4 races for Angie after joining us halfway through the season. Driving really well, as always. Satis is up into P2. And G32 is in 3rd place, with Redwood in 5th. So at the moment Redwood's doing enough to win that championship. And finally the GT4 boys have spread themselves out a little bit. Cracking first half of the race from all of them though. It's awesome to watch. The race leader Dazza pops on by. Nico starting to struggle a little bit in that BMW. Was running well though. I wonder if those pit stops were just for damage, because I haven't seen them come back in for wets, and they're running. Mark's struggles in that poor struggle continue as they have done all season. Oh yeah, a one pit stop for fresh wets is a shout. Whoa, his flipper goes round and jumps the curb. He'll be okay, will it? Yeah. It'll cost him some time, but he's going to need to lose a little bit more time than that for Johnny to have a chance of catching him. And Pulsator Whitford still rotating in third. Here we go, halfway through the race. Lost 3 GT3 runners. All the GT4 guys still going. Weather getting worse and worse now. Puddles starting to form. Flipper's off the road again here. Look, Flipper's about to throw Flipper's off. Flipper's struggling a little bit more in these treacherous conditions. So potentially wearing your wet tyres out through that dry period is proving harder to handle than they thought. You might start to see guys diving into the pits now for a fresh set of wets if they've burnt them out a little bit. Running through the dry. Because Flipper, who was running really, really well, ran well through the light rain and the dry. Now that we're into sort of rain as it was, as Whitford goes a bit deep through Brundle, avoids contact. Well saved. See if Flipper thinks he needs to dive into the pits if he's struggling that much. Whoa. There you go, side by side down the main straight. Whitford's going to have the inside line here for turn 1. Oh, he backs out of it, fair play. Didn't fancy committing. I think Whitford knows it's a long race. So Johnny's now 40 seconds. No, 30 seconds back from this battle. 27 minutes to go, 30 seconds behind. It's going to take a Herculean effort from Johnny B to win this championship. I think it's slipping through his fingers a little bit here. That unscheduled pit stop. Whitford gets alongside again on the outside. Flipper stays nice and tight, gets a little bit of wheel spin on exit. I think Whitford might pull it off. Yeah, nice move for Whitford, round the outside, up into P2. Flipper tries to come back at him. Drag down the straight. Shows the nose. You've got the inside for this one, but then immediately he'll be on the outside. Where's Whitford gone? They're side by side still. Great driving from Whitford. I think Whitford's well up for a battle, but he's certainly not up for taking any stupid risks at the moment in the rain, which I totally respect. Great driving actually from these two. Great battle. in their beautiful gold-coloured Mercedes-Benz. And Whitford's famous blue and white Ferrari as Flip has another little wobble on exit, and Whitford's back up into second. This is the kind of battle that will probably run a race now, I reckon. Quickly update you on the world of GT4. Andy's still leading the way. Massive lead now, best part of 30 seconds over Satis. Hold on, what's just that? Hold on, something just happened. Whitford! Whitford's gone. I think Whitford's disconnected. No. Who pits again? We got four runners in GT3. What's going on? This is a war of attrition. 4 runners left in GT3, which means Johnny B's back up to 3rd, but he's 33 seconds behind Flipper. Black Far's going to have to buy Flipper a pint if he hangs on to P2. And Dazzler for that matter. Dazzler's driving fantastically out the front here. He stormed into the lead off the line and he hasn't looked back once. He's just been increasing that lead. He struggled early on in the championship, hasn't he, Dazzler? He was round 1 and round 2. He was having spins. He was getting himself into all sorts of mischief. Now look at him go. Class of the field at the moment in the discount tyres McLaren. I wonder if Flipper's aware of the gravity of the situation. I hope, or in a way I sort of hope not, so he can keep a cool head. And actually, Johnny B losing more time? What was that with Johnny B? Now he's like 40 seconds back. I think he must have had another spin. Is that maybe a little bit of damage on that Audi again? Was that the runner? Was that the Janetta? I saw a rear bumper hanging off something then, I thought. And here comes that who's been in the pits once again. He's last in GT3, but thanks to everyone else dying or disconnecting, he's in 4th. Basically means our main event now for the last 20 minutes is going to be the GT4 race. We've still got 8 runners in GT4. Andy's still leading the way. And we've got Satis, who's putting a lap there on Nico, who was in the battle before, so he's obviously had some problems. He's been in and out of the pits. G32 in 3rd place. It's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. I think he's going to need to get himself up into 2nd spot if he wants a chance of winning the championship. Viper in 4th. Redwood Championship leader, who we saw get collected at the start of the first lap. A bit of a chain reaction, really, wasn't it? So I think a couple of the GT3 boys came together, and then obviously the GT4 crowd arrived on the scene pretty quickly at that point, and it turned into a massive tangle. I didn't really catch it too well on stream, I don't think, but as usual around Kerb Clippers, I would imagine it wasn't anybody's fault. Just more of a kind of a 16 into 1 doesn't necessarily go, especially from a standing start in the wet and GT cars, to be expected really. But he's still lapping and he's still in 5th place, which right now, if my maths is correct, is enough for the championship. DB Kung, we've seen our dramas in 6th, and then Nico Perez having more dramas. He's sideways, he's off, he's on the grass. Was quite a solid start from Nico though. All's gone to pot a little bit now as he loses a place to Mark, drops him down to the last runner. but still a brave choice to drive that BMW and drove well initially, even if he's having a few more wobbles now. So that time, last time round, Flipper must have had another moment as well, because he's done a 2:07.185. So potentially, Johnny B has been in the pits, hasn't he? So Flipper and Dazzler are still on the tyres they started on. They drove the wet tyres all the way through the dry period. It's raining again now. But if Flipper has taken a bit too much out of his wet tyres, this might not be all over here, folks. Because if he continues to lose 10 seconds a lap, or even 5 seconds a lap, Johnny B is going to catch him. Let's just keep an eye on Flipper Show for a while. The rest of the race has settled down a little bit. There's no massively close battles on track at the moment. So we'll just watch Flipper and see how well he's getting on. We'll check the lap time as he comes around this time. See if he's struggling on warm wets, or whether he just got caught up in a bit of traffic or made a little bit of a mistake last time round. He looks okay, it looks quite smooth. Yep, no pits this time. Yeah, and that's more like it. Back up to pace a little bit. 2:01.62. Four-wheel drifts it into the hairpin. Here comes Johnny B, 156 last time round. If it's anything like that again, 158. I mean, he's gaining. Johnny B at maximum attack. Championship on the line. Just had the revs just pick up there. There's the back wheels got lifted off the ground by some standing water. So as the rain continues, you're going to have more and more puddles, more chances of just getting picked up and spun around. Gap's now 23 seconds according to this. Oh, the Flipper comes across a struggling BMW at the hands of Nico. I wonder if Nico might have had, when he's coming to the pits, he might have had his tyre pressures messed up or something, because he's, even though the Beamer's not the fastest car, he was certainly had decent pace at the start of the race, but it's really struggling now. So I guess we'll keep an eye on this then. We'll keep watching these lap times come in. As Dazzler does a 1:59.9, so it's still possible to skim under 2 minutes. 2:03 for Flipper. It's not a terrible lap time. Oh, Johnny B's off the circuit. He's pushing like mad. He's made a mistake. That really should be curtains now. Blank file if you're watching, mate. It looks like KC Cup number 14 is going to be coming your way. Blank file is, of course, Kerb Clipper's most decorated in-house driver, with 13 championships at the moment. Closely followed by Atu, who's got 12. It's actually turned into like a little inter-team competition between them two of how many KC Cups they can have. Atu really has, since Project Cars 2, been the man to beat, really, to be fair. But he struggled in that M6 this season. And that's a case in point. Lovely 360, put it off and keep going. Yeah, that's what we like. Bit of style for the fans there. If you can't win it, make sure you look sick doing it, as the old saying goes. Bit of action coming up on GT4 as Redwood catches the back of Viper. This is important for Redwood's championship as he lets Johnny B slide through. Yeah, Redwood's still on to win the championship at the moment. 5th spot's good enough for him with G32 only in 3rd place, but it would only help if he could pass Motormouth or Viper. As they come into Brundle. BB Kung's still struggling with damage. Mark Curtis struggling in the Porsche and Nico struggling in the BMW. Checking back in with the race leader. Got himself in a nice pocket of space here. A bit of clear track. Second advantage now over Flipper Dazza with 15 minutes to go. I know I keep cursing people with the commentator's curse, but it's looking pretty good for Dazza. I won't say anything more than that at the moment. And it's still looking pretty good for Flipper to get himself up on the podium in 2nd spot as well, which I hope he'll be happy with. Shame we lost Whitford after a great pole position and a good start to the race. He slightly missed what happened to him, but I assume he's stuffed it in the wall somewhere. Oh, as Nico hits the pits again for more damage. And actually, look at this, Angie coming up to put a lap on some of her fellow GT4 competitors. The only slight bad news I might have for Angie is that she might actually be too fast for our Pro-Am division moving forward. So she might have to start mixing it with all the scary drivers. Potentially. Although because she's so young, we might just let her keep whipping everyone's ass in in the Pro-Am division, just to keep these boys on their toes like. Not only leading GT4, but P5 on the road. Oh, as that is Viper making a mistake. Who was that? DB? Who was that? Yeah, it was. Viper loses out, so Redwood up to 3rd. Sorry, up to 4th. Looking good for the championship, Red. His consistent results are paying off. Yeah, so just chink to the right then, just to avoid a puddle that's sat on the outside of your entrance to turn 1, which would be your optimal racing line normally. As Viper lets Angie through to go a lap down on his slash leader. G32 really wants to see that spray of water up ahead. That is Satis in 2nd place. Bear with me while I just do some number crunching, which will take me far longer than it should do to try and figure out what you need. He's 9 points behind. If he was to get himself up into 16th spot, more or less. I tell you what. If G32 could get up into second place, it's only 5 seconds away. With 11 minutes to go, as he just tries to navigate his way around the old one lap down BMW of Nico. So he would need to earn 7 points or less. Yeah, you need Redwood down in 6th spot, which isn't actually looking very likely. So I do believe, barring any major disasters or any huge dramas at this point, that Blankfile is going to win GT3 and Redwood is going to win GT4. But once again, the gap between Flipper and Johnny B starts to come down. It's about 20 seconds now. FRY-DIZ, by the way, 40 seconds in the lead, dominating this race. They love that shot of that Marshall, don't they? Right. As we just tick the 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes left of the Kerb Clippers British TT Championship. It's been 7 amazing races. Really good fun to use the multi-class. I've really enjoyed watching all the races. The drama in all of them. To varying degrees, but there's always been something going on. The driving's been top class from everybody, really. We've had a few racing incidents, but I've not seen anything stupid from anybody, you know. A lot of us have been racing together for a long, long time, but all of the new drivers that have come in have driven really well as well. The likes of Flipper, who are watching now. It's only his second race with KC, but proven to be a really good driver. Knows how to look after his car and everyone around him. Same goes for Angie, who's joined us this season. G32 as well. It's his first championship with Kerb Clippers. We've actually brought in quite a few new drivers for this one. Not sure if that's down to the suboptimal commentary or whatever, but as Project Cars 2's kind of drivership starts to dwindle a little bit as we desperately wait for the new game. It's been nice to see some fresh faces joining us. And Nico as well, it's his first run. I know he's done some races before, but it's his first run in any of my championships, and he was driving really well. He started having struggles in the second half of the race. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but in the initial part of the race he was going well, and still just nice driving in traffic, which is all we really asked for. You don't have to be the fastest man in the world, as long as you know how to handle yourself on the track. That's what we really need. Johnny B, by far the fastest man on track. He is absolutely gunning it at the moment. He did a 1:57.8 and he's the only guy in the 1 minutes. I mean, Daz is cruising, of course he is. He's got a 37-second lead with 7 minutes to go. But I think it's too little too late for Johnny. We saw those mistakes. He's been off the road a few times. It looks like it's going to be close, but not quite close enough for Johnny B at this point. The other exciting bit of news we've got with Kerb Clippers is that we're going to move into finally doing some iRacing hosting as well. Obviously we've been a Project Cars PS4 club for a long time, but we're making the expansion probably sometime fairly soon to hosting our own iRacing events as well, which should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing all of the old drivers that we've kind of haven't had a chance to race with for a while since we've all been on iRacing, but not hosting. You know, it's going to be good to get the old crowd back together. Quite a lot of drivers have graduated from Project Cars 2 to iRacing, you know, through our events and stuff like that. So definitely about time that we start hosting some stuff on iRacing. As Flipper makes a mistake, goes round at Blunder once again. Makes a little mistake but gets away with it. Gap down to 19 seconds. Johnny B, if he hadn't made that one when he was closing on him before, if he hadn't made that one extra little mistake just when we caught the end of it and he was in the grass facing the wrong way and had to just plan himself out of there. Without that mistake right now, with these couple of little errors that Flipper's made, he'd probably only be about 7 or 8 seconds behind with 5 minutes to go, but it really would have been race on. As he passes the GT4 of DB Kung, still valiantly lapping round, we get another long establishing shot of my folding armed mate in his box. Who's that? That's like Johnny B to me. Johnny B round again. That really is game over. Blankfile's going to win the championship. And it will be Casey Cup 14 for Blankfile. With missing a round as well. You can't say fairer than that. And with his and at Spa he had his big issue with his screen as well, which cost him 1 minute and 30. Oh, excuse me. I made him only finish in P9 that race as well. So despite dramas at Spa, completely missing Snetterton in a 7-round championship to still win the championship, you got to tip your hat to Mr. Blankfile. The man is consistent and fast and takes some beating. But it does look like as well we are going to get our 3rd different race winner of the season. Blankfile with 4 race wins, Johnny B with 2. And barring any massive engine explosions that are going to cost him 41 seconds, you're going to have Dazzle with a race win as well. And he's a minute ahead in GT4 from the nearest rival, which is still Satis Sounds, on for another good podium. I think Satis might have been on the podium in pretty much 6 out of the 7 rounds, I think. Even when he was driving the shitty Mustang at the start as well. Oh, as I say that, he crashes on the straight because what was that? Was that looked like Johnny's off again? Johnny B's having a nightmare. He's recreated the practice race at Snet, and I think that was enough to scare Satis off. He's gone off again. So G32's up to 2nd. Hello, that's some spice for the GT4 Championship. I'm going to have to redo the maps here. G32 up into 2nd spot, and Satis is still recovering. Where is Satis? Come on, cameraman, where is he? There he is, there he goes. Hangs on to P3. Because Redwood's quite a long way back here. It's still not going to be enough because Redwood's in 4th. And Viper's now a long way back in 5th. And then even further back for DB Kung 6th, Mark Quirty 7th, and Parrot and Nico in 8th. But it will be the gap's going to go. It's going to be 3 points that Redwood's going to win the championship by if they finish like this. As Dazza heads out onto the penultimate lap. Not Satis running wide in the background yet. Can we get away with that? Right, as we get towards the end of the race, we'll just give some Dazza some camera time to enjoy. cruise into victory. Just making sure he has a chance of sketching it up. He makes the BMW go deep. Don't look at, he might have a problem then. Oh, no idea what happened then, thanks to the cameraman. Oh, Matto's still alive. Nico's still alive, that's all good. Nico running wide. Yeah. He struggled in that beam since the rain started coming down. But at least he hasn't taken anyone else with him. And here comes Dazza. Down into Brundle. With a wibbling out behind him, 1 lap down. To start what will be the final lap of the final race of the season. The finale of the Kerb Kippers British GT Championship here at Snetterton 300. Dazza leading the way, 44-second advantage, huge advantage. That's by far, I think, the biggest winning margin of the season. Checking in with our orange man again. Here we go, white flag in the air for Melted Dazza. He crosses the line to start the final lap. As GT4 leader Andy comes through the bomb hole. Through the final corner to receive the white flag herself. Takes the white flag. So after early troubles in the championship, opening a few rounds of the season at Silverstone, Brands Hatch, didn't really go Dazza's way, struggled a little bit with setup, couldn't quite seem to find a balance of the car. Hasn't really featured in the championship, at the top end of the championship as much as he would have liked, but he is going to finish the season with a win. As he comes through the bomb hole for the final time. Passes G32. And now the final corner for the final time. Melted Dazza. Orange man again. Oh, Dazza's running wide on the grass while we're watching Orange man. But he takes the checkered flag to win the race. Round number 7 goes to Melted Dazza. Fantastic drive, dominant drive. He's got a minute on the rest of the field. Fantastic stuff. Right behind him, G32 comes in to finish in 2nd spot. As Andy has a tiny trip through the weeds. Flipper and Johnny there a bit further back. Yeah, so Angie's going to be crossing the line to win GT4. 3rd win of the season for Angie. Well done to her. Another great drive, and dominant drive as well actually. 2 dominant drives in both the classes today. Not only winning GT4 but ending up 5th on the road overall, which is an amazing effort. Angie wins again. Well done to Angie. Great stuff. G32, like I say, has already picked up 2nd spot, crossing the line behind the leader. Satis has come home 3rd to complete the podium in GT4. Here comes Flipper, the man who's stopped Johnny B from winning the championship. I'll tell you what, something's happened to Flipper. He's not that far ahead of Johnny right now. After all of that, after looking very comfortable, there's damage on that Mercedes as well. He's still going to get home. Fucking orange man. Here comes Flipper. Well done to him. That's a great drive for Flipper. P2. I hope he'll be happy with that. Great podium for Flipper. And then Johnny B, after many, many dramas, he's going to miss the championship by my calculation, 1 point. Coming in third. After a valiant effort as all the guys stack up. Nico's doing donuts. What a fantastic season. Atu comes home in fourth, sideways across the line. And bizarrely, that completes our GT3 runners to top 4. Everybody else died. But all the GT4s made it home. So there's something. At the start of the season, we couldn't get all the GT4s to the grid. It kept having disconnection issues and stuff. But another great race. Awesome stuff. Right, there we go. The final classified results for the grand final and the last round of the Kerb Clippers British GT Championship looks like this. Melted Dazzler gets his first race win of the season. Flipper Feet comes home P2. Johnny B just misses out on the championship. Third spot. Atu comes home fourth. I've got to be honest, I've slightly lost track of the order the other guys went out, but Matty, Buzz, everyone else, they'll all be classified wherever they finished, or however many laps they completed, down to 8th place. They will get the points, but the main headliners, that Mr. Blank File wins the championship, even though he's not here today, so well done to Blank once again. And then we've got Angie claiming her third win of the season in GT4. Can't cruise into victory ahead of the rest of the field. G32 Turbo just misses out on the championship as well by about 3 points, I believe, coming home in second. He did what he had to do. He beat Redwood, but Redwood did just enough with Satis in third. Redwood takes the championship by coming home in fourth. Vipers in fifth. DB Kung sixth. Mark Querty in seventh. And then you got Nico Perez rounding out in 8th spot in the BMW. All that leaves me to do is thank all the drivers for taking part. Thank you for watching. And in what's been our first ever proper televised championship with commentary, I think it's gone really, really well. So hopefully we'll look to do more things like this in the future. Got a couple of ideas in the pipeline. We're going to be doing the iRacing stuff as well. We'll see if we can't at least stream the onboards of that to YouTube, even if we don't have a commentator. But I'll certainly be bringing some more Project Cars 2 stuff with some TV angles and some commentary in the very near future. But until then, keep an eye on the Discord for the announcement. Thanks once again for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.